Determine the formal charge on atoms in NH4+. Before I can determine the formal charge, I must first have a Lewis structure for my molecule. And in order to draw the Lewis structure, I must have the number of valence electrons. So nitrogen has 5 valence electrons plus 4 hydrogens, each with 1 valence electron. And because I have a plus charge, which indicates the loss of an electron, I'm going to subtract 1 from that. And so what I see is that I have 8 electrons in my Lewis structure because that's the total number of valence electrons. So I draw my nitrogen in the middle because hydrogen must be a terminal atom. And I'm going to draw everything with single bonds. Now I see that in my structure I've used up 8 electrons, which is all the electrons I had. Draw my brackets and my plus sign just so I have a correct structure. And that's okay because remember, we don't need any additional electrons around hydrogen. It only wants 2, so it's perfectly fine that way. Now I want to look at my formal charges. So I'm going to look at my hydrogen first. I see that in an isolated atom of hydrogen, it would have 1 electron assigned to it. I'm going to subtract off the number of lone pair or non-bonding electrons assigned to it in this structure, which is 0, and minus half of the bonding electron. So I get a formal charge of 0 on each of my hydrogen atoms because they all have the same structure within this molecule. Now I'm going to look at my nitrogen. And I know that nitrogen has 5 electrons in the isolated atom. Here it has no non-bonding electrons, and it has 8 electrons around it, so half of 8 equals 4. So 5 minus 4 is 1. And so our nitrogen has a formal charge of plus 1. And this is okay because remember that the sum of our formal charges must equal the sum of the charge on the particular substance. Here we have a plus 1 charge, so the sum of our formal charges should equal plus 1. And we can't really get any lower because we have to have that plus 1 charge. We do have lots of zeros, which indicates some stability in the structure. In general, when we're looking at formal charges to compare whether something is a better structure than another, we have to have 2 different structures and compare the sets of formal charges with each.